Learning to handstand on parallettes is a really useful skill. Training on parallettes means that your wrists aren't in extension all the time, and this means you can still train for strength elements while still having slightly sore or weak wrists. They elevate you off the ground, so if like me you're an inflexible guy, you can practice for skills that you don't have the flexibility to do on the floor yet. You can also use this elevation to add range of motion to exercises like handstand push-ups and make them harder. They also allow you to work up to doing skills on higher bars, which looks really cool. So learning to handstand on parallettes is definitely a worthwhile thing to do. But a lot of people have nailed the floor handstand, but they still can't handstand on parallettes. So why is that? Let's get into it. Well, the first reason you might not be able to handstand on parallettes is because you don't understand how the balance works. And instead of doing a handstand on the floor when you're using pressing and leading to maintain your balance, the balance comes entirely from the movement of your wrist in line with your forearm. Or if you want to pretend to be an expert in human biomechanics, you can call this ulnar and radial deviation. You can see when I hold the handstand on the parallettes compared to the floor, my forearm is working a lot more. And that's because it's moving my wrists around to maintain the balance. If you're going to overbalance on the parallettes, then you want to press the front part of your hand into the parallettes. If you're going to underbalance, then you want to press the back part of your hands into the parallettes. This is the exact same concept of holding a handstand on the floor, except it's just in a different plane of motion in your wrists. The second reason that you won't be able to handstand on parallettes is because you aren't squeezing them hard enough. If you don't squeeze the parallettes, your hands are just going to slip around and you're going to lose balance. I'm actually a particularly sweaty-handed person, so I actually use chalk on my parallettes if I'm doing something that I know is going to require quite a lot of adjustment. In all, squeezing the parallettes makes your wrists more stable and maintaining balance all the more easier. Squeezing the parallettes is actually also really helpful if you're just trying to eke out a last handstand push-up rep. This is because it just engages the forearm muscles a bit more and just gives you that little bit more of a force boost. The third reason you might not be able to handstand on parallettes is because of the fear factor. So this is a new surface and therefore there's more possibilities and new possibilities for falling. And this time when you fall, you don't just put your feet down, your wrists might actually come off the parallettes and then go down a few inches onto the ground. And this puts a little bit of strain on your wrist, which is very understandably off-putting when you're learning to handstand on the parallettes. This can be a bigger issue if you bought a higher pair of parallettes as your first one. To fix this, I just recommend that you go back to the start and practice against the wall a little bit. This just removes the fear of overbalancing, which is when you actually take your wrists off the parallettes. And you'll just get used to that sort of balance a bit more without the risk of, straining your wrist or whatever. If that feels like going backwards to you, don't really worry about it too much. If you can handstand on the floor, you've done 90% of the work. You can basically do all of the balance on the parallettes already. I actually find the parallettes much easier to balance on than the floor now that I can do it. So you won't need more than a couple of sessions just practicing against the wall until you're confident at balancing on the parallettes. So that's all the problems that I could think of. If you had a different problem with balancing on the parallettes, just leave a comment and I'll try my best to answer it. I'll probably know the answer, but it'll just slipped my mind when I was actually making this video. I'm going to try and do a couple more of these sort of informational videos in the future, so if you have anything that you want me to make a video on, then let me know in the comments and I'll try my best to do that. One of the hardest things is actually just thinking about what I'm actually supposed to be doing, really. I'd also very much appreciate it if you subscribed and followed me on Instagram as well. Well, I made it a year ago, but I've decided now that I'm actually going to start making some uploads on it. So, if you want to just see general progress and general things that I'm doing and training and stuff, then go and follow me there. I promise I'll try and do some stuff on it. So, thank you very much for watching. If this helped, let me know and leave a like and that. If this didn't help, also let me know. I guess. So thank you and goodbye.